A very good afternoon to all and a very warm welcome to the first part of Decorate, one of the brand new events of Sanganan 2021, which is the fourth edition of Sanganan. Let me first introduce you all to Decorate. It is a guest lecture event
where students will be given exposure to some of the knowledgeable personalities specialized in their respective domain. The basic idea of this event is to bring students and experts on a platform and help the budding minds to know more, aspire more, ask more so as to improve themselves. Today, our guest lecturer is Dr. Puneet Mishra, Assistant Professor at University of Lucknow Computer Science Department. His specialization includes artificial intelligence, machine learning, e-commerce, operating system, etc. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We are glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Today, sir, we will be speaking. Today, sir will be speaking on historical ideas of artificial intelligence and related topics. I would like to invite sir and hand over the mic to him. Sir, I request you to please continue with your wise words.
Just a minute, I'm sharing my screen first.
Sure, sir.
Just a minute. A very good afternoon to all. I hope my screen is visible now. Now I'm going into presentation mode. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Uh, Computers and technology, along with softwares, make the modern world go around. But for every piece of clever software, there's a programmer, and often a teams of programmers behind the scene, solving problems with clever code, giving solutions, and making intense development projects. So before moving towards the topic of today's event, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to the organizers for making me a part of this annual TechFest Sanganan, which is organized on the occasion of International Programmers Day. Programmers Day is celebrated on the 256th day of every year, since this is the number of distinct values that can be represented with an 8-bit byte and the highest power of 2, which is less than 365. The current day honors programmers around the world. There's hardly a person in the civilized world who does not benefit from the tool of the programmers. Whether we look toward any walk of life like transportation, medicine, finance, education, programming influences all of them. Nearly every business, telecommunication, not telecommunication, every business requires programmers to maintain their infrastructure from an IT standpoint. When we talk about telecommunication, it also continues advancing, and thanks to these programmers. The automobile industry relies on programmers for the latest brands to roll off the assembly lines. Security, society, entertainment look to the programmers for the latest in production, design, and innovation. So, this is a huge day for all of us computer scientists who are involved into computer science. So I'm starting my topic. The topic for today's interaction is history of ideas and achievements of artificial intelligence. So I'm coming to start with my first slide, which is a message for all of you. We started with it with certain things we inculcated in ourselves. We became human, and again with technology, we are losing our human values. So, being a technologist, my sincere advice to all young persons, since we programmers have to give our day-to-day life with these gadgets, but this is not a solution. So, humanity exists with being human, not with gadgets. Every day we start with mobile phone. The first gadget comes into our mind when we wake up, and the last gadget we when we try to sleep, we end up with the day is again a gadget. So that is making our world very complex. So my message is technology should be used for change around us, not making machines like changes in human beings. So we are all humans. We should be humans, even humanoids. We are thinking of, but still there's a big gap between humans and humanoids. We have to maintain this gap since we have to be there in on Earth as a human. So the topic is very interesting, and I have chosen this topic because in my mind there was a basically misconception that people are learning about AI, they are learning about programming, but from where this term came out and came as a whole thing, that is not very clear to most of us in computer science. So I'm starting my lecture. The quest and quench of artificial intelligence begins with dream, as all quests do. People have long imagined machines with human abilities, automata that move, the devices that reason. Human-like machines are described in many stories and are pictured in sculptures, paintings, drawings, which shows its importance. And when I talk about artificial intelligence, there are things which show certain intelligent behaviors, but there are also few things which don't show any such behavior. So how we are said intelligent and what is this quantity is? First we have to understand this. Since we show intelligent behavior, why? Because we learn from experience. So there's a term, experience is coming. We apply knowledge acquired from experience. We handle complex situations. We solve problems when important information is missing. We determine what is important and what is not. We react quickly and correctly to a new situation. Understand visual images and try to figure out patterns imbibed in those pictures or images. We process and manipulate symbols. We are creative and imaginative. That's how we are said intelligent. And in the last, we use heuristics. All these are basically the criteria for becoming intelligent in this human world. And what about these things? Decision making, brain, mind, idea, thought, knowledge, genes, intelligence. So might be in your AI class, you might have studied about these terms, that what is decision making, how brain works, in neural network, how the neurons work, what is mind, what is idea, again a philosophical thought is behind that. What is the significance of thoughts, what is the significance of knowledge, what are genes, how intelligent behavior can be propagated in different humans. These all things are at present talk of the town. We are debating on these issues, trying to find out where this AI is taking us. Artificial intelligence, if I talk about, may lack on an agreed upon definition. There are different mouths and you might have heard different definitions. But someone writing about its history must have some kind of definition in his mind. So for me, artificial intelligence is that activity which is devoted to making machines intelligent. If I talk about different definition of AI, it might be a lecture or two will be less for that. But there are n number of definitions you are finding in different books, literature, as well as different research papers. But when we talk about artificial intelligence, it is basically the activity devoted to making machines intelligent. And intelligence is that quality that enables an entity to function appropriately with foresight in its environment. According to now this definition, lot of things, if I talk about, there are lot of things they are there. Humans, animals, and some machines are intelligent. So we can classify what sort of intelligence and what sort of things are there. Machines such as smart cameras nowadays are used, and many animals are at the primitive end of the extended continuum along with entities with various degrees of intelligence are arrayed. At the other end are humans who are able to reason, achieve goals, understand, generate language, perceive, and respond to sensory inputs, prove mathematical theorems, play challenging games, synthesize and summarize information, create art and music, and even write histories. And because functioning appropriately and with foresight requires so many different capabilities depending on the environment, we actually have several continua of intelligence with no particularly sharp discontinuities in any of them. For these reasons, I take a rather generous view of what constitutes AI. That means that my history of the subject will at times include some control engineering, some electrical engineering, some philosophy, some statistics, some linguistics, some logic, and some computer science. So, amalgamation of different subjects brings this subject as AI. Now, there are certain terms which I'm going to describe with you. We are thinking of artificial intelligence. We are also thinking of making artificial brain. So, can we build hardware as complex as brain? So, for intelligence, we have to have a processor, and we call our brain as a processor of things we have. So, how complicated is our brain? In our brain, there are approximately 10 raised to the power 12 neurons. Then there are many more synapses connecting these neurons, and its cycle time is around 10 raised to the power minus 3 seconds. That is 1 milliseconds. So a neuron is a simple basic information processing unit. So our brain is a very complex example of distributed computing in which there are hundreds of these processing units are there. So how complex can we make computers? So first think of that. We can make a CPU having 10 raised to the power 8 or more transistors per CPU. And when we talk about supercomputers, these have hundreds of CPUs, central processing unit, having 10 raised to the power 12 bits of RAM. And cycle time is around 10 raised to the power minus 9 seconds. So from there, what conclusion we can make? In near future, we can have computers with as many basic processing elements as our brain, but with far fewer interconnections than the brain. The second thing is much faster upgrades than the brain. But building hardware is very different from making a computer behave like a brain. So when we talk about difference between human and computer, you might be finding various differences. Like humans cannot play chess. Oh, humans can play chess, but computers cannot play chess. So when we talk about human versus computer, so there are many definitions of AI, and some of these definitions of AI are based on a sharp understanding of vital difference that exists between man and computer, which is merely a machine. Basically, computers are machines which obey rules speedily and accurately. On the other hand, human beings work by intuition in a way that psychologists do not fully understand. However, an interesting feature about AI is that it covers these operations through which computers are made to do things which at moments are done by humans. With AI, the role of computer changes from something useful to something essential. Hence, the definition of artificial intelligence is more important here. So we can say another definition, we can come out with AI is study of how to make computers do things which at the moment people do better. This was given by Rich and Knight, and the beauty of this definition is the fact that we have avoided defining the meaning of either artificial or intelligence. Since artificial, when we talk about artificial, it means not natural, that is, and when we talk about intelligence, it is a quality of human being that is defined. So for a human, for a layman, this definition would be surprising. To him, the computers appear to take over the activities which belong to human beings and are beyond to the scope of mere machines. So there are certain things which computers do better, and there are certain things which humans do better. So first I am talking about those things which humans can do in a better manner. When we talk about computers are basically better in numerical computation, information storage, and repetitive operations. And when we talk about humans, so the first and the foremost thing, humans have common sense. Still, machines don't possess this sort of thing. These sort of things. When we talk about numerical computations, computers are without doubt faster and more accurate than humans in numerical computations. Also, the chances of errors in most almost zero in case of computers. But when we talk about information storage, computers can store huge amount of information, wherein human beings can have only a certain amount of knowledge which can be stored in their minds. Similarly, when we talk about repetitive operations, it is well known that computers do not get bored and commit mistakes as fatigue sets in even when they repeat the same process every day. If a computer is used to print out 1000 copies of a document, all will be similar. And this is different if human being produces such a huge amount of copies of a single document. Now, when we are talking about different things, I told you that humans are better in the sense that they have common sense knowledge, which include knowing what we know vaguely as well as what we know clearly. Suppose, for example, I'm giving you an example how humans are far better than AI-based machines. For example, if we would search for, if we were asked to recall the phone number of one of our college good friends, we would go to our memory element and try to retrieve information. But if we were asked to give the phone number of India's Prime Minister, we should go to a database, I have to search. But again, another question arises here. If I'll ask for the phone number of the Tulsidas, the writer epic, who's the writer of the epic Ramayana, there's no phone number exists, since at those times there were no such facilities were there. So common sense, by common sense, an answer can be given that at that time no computers were there. Now, as I told you earlier, the quest for artificial intelligence begins with dream. So people have long imagined machines with human ability. Even if you have seen the historical movies, you might be astonished on the way they depicted their things, and the things are basically devices, human-like machines, which are described into many stories and are pictured in sculptures, paintings, and drawings. I'm going to recall a few. The Iliad of Homer talks about the self-propelled chairs, which are called as tripods. And when we talk about ancient Greek myths, there were Pygmalion sculptures which has an ivory statue of a beautiful maiden with which Venus brings to life. So such type of things are already described in our literature. Even the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle dreamed of automation also, but apparently he thought it is an impossible fantasy, thus making slavery necessary if people were to enjoy leisure. In his one article, The Politics, he wrote, suppose that every tool we had could perform its task either at our bidding or itself perceiving the needs. And if, like the tripods of Hephaestus, of which the poet says that self-moved they enter the assembly of gods. So such type of things were dreamed, and from that dream came different things. So these are the things already in picture. Similarly, I'm talking about some historical things. Again, I'm telling you that Raymond Lull, he was around 1235 to 1316. He was a Catalan mystic and poet. He produced a set of paper discs, which are called as Ars Magna, great art. It means great art, which was intended, among other things, as a debating tool for winning Muslims to the Christian faith through logic and reason. So such type of things were there, basically made of paper discs, and the paper disc can roll on one another. Then in 1651, Thomas Hobbes published his book Levantine about the social contract and the ideal settlement. In the introduction, Hobbes seems to say that it might be possible to build an artificial animal. So the term artificial is not from today. Even philosophers were trying to gain this thing. what is art? Can we create artificial brain? How we can give artificial intelligence to human beings if they are not at par with other human beings? So such type of things were there. Even Leonardo da Vinci, you might have heard, he made a model of a robot knight based on the drawing, based on the drawing of Leonardo da Vinci. He first gave the model of a robot knight, and then before that he had given certain drawings, and those drawings this robot was tried to make. But this was a sculpture only. Then there were different inventions were there regarding these artificial intelligence. So a huge history is behind. Just I'll tell you a book. You go and read that. The Quest for Artificial Intelligence. You will find these things written there, even in the form of book. This is there. Similarly, Vaccasun duck was a remarkable piece of engineering. When he made that, after making it, he wrote himself, I believe that a person of skills and attention will see how difficult it has been to make so many different moving parts in this small automation. As for example, to make it rise upon its leg, throw its neck to right and left, they will find the different changes of the fulcrum or centers of motion. The basic idea of AI came from there. Similarly, there were mechanical dolls, Olympia, which sings and dances in the Act 1 of Les Quantises, the Hoffman, the Tales of Hoffman by Jacques Offenbach in 1819 to 1880 in their opera. So there are n number of different things. So I'm not going into my details of very much history, since history has done its part and we are now into new things. So the first question arises after this: can computers beat humans at chess? You might have thought, and there's a graph. Earlier it was thought that it cannot win, but Deep Blue has done that. But chess playing is a classical AI problem. It is a well-defined problem, very complex, difficult for humans to play with. Another thing, can computers talk? So all these things are basically the backbone of AI. If we have a talking computer, if we have a thinking computer, if we have a vision-based computer, that means AI is implemented in every part. So, can computers talk? We talk about this is known as speech synthesis. That means translate text to phonetic form. This is already we are doing with the help of Google tools. We are using this. Even Google Translate, we can using Google Transliterate. We are using for typing these phonetic fonts. But there are some difficulties. Sounds made by this lookup approach sound unnatural. You might be going to any of the documentaries which have their voice given by computers. Then you might be not very comfortable, since act and actions are different. Modern systems can handle this pretty well. A harder emphasis is now on emotions. Humans understand what they are saying, machines don't. So they sound unnatural. So earlier, computers cannot talk for complete sentences. They can talk in parts and bits, but for individual words, they are fine. So with time, you are going to find such type of things available. Can computers recognize speech? Again, speech recognition, that means mapping sounds from a microphone into a list of words. That is a classical problem in AI. It is very difficult for computers, but recognizing single words from a small vocabulary computers are doing. But directory inquiries, big questions, big answers, again, not a part of computers. Still, work is going on. Google is doing great things in this arena. Recognizing human speech is again more difficult. Speech is continuous. There are boundaries between words, where to stop, where is a semicolon, where is a full stop. That all has to be first checked. For large vocabularies, computers are not very fine. There can be many thousands of possible words. We can context to help figure out what someone said. We can even hypothesize and test. We try telling a waiter in a restaurant, I would like some cream and sugar in my coffee. But if there are certain background noises, other speakers, accents, colds, etc., these will affect. On normal speech, modern systems are only around 50, 60, 70% up to accurate. So we can make a conclusion here. No, normal speech is too complex to accurately recognize. Yes, but for restricted problems, if we have restricted set of answers, we can do. If we have a small vocabulary and we have single speakers, it can do better results. Understanding is different to recognition. Now, earlier I talked about recognition. Now I'm talking about understanding speech. So understanding speech is another area where computers are doing good. AI is utilized in this field area also. Understanding is different to recognition, since if I'm stating one statement like time flies like an arrow, assume that the computer can recognize all the words. How many different interpretations are there? Time passes. The first interpretation is time passes quickly like an arrow. Command-based interpretation can be like this: time the flies the way an arrow times the flies. Similarly, command like only time those flies which are like an arrow. Time flies are fond of arrow. So there are different interpretations. Which interpretation is best? That still is to be a part of understanding speech. So conclusion, if the computer is providing certain sensors, then only this can be figured out. Clearly, humans use a lot of implicit common sense knowledge in communication. So still we have to work very hard on this particular aspect of AI. No much of what we say is beyond the capabilities of a computer to understand at present. Can computers learn and adopt? Another area which is first we have to allocate. When we talk about this, learning and adaptation is again a very different aspect. Consider computer learning to drive on a freeway. We could teach it lots of rules about what to do, or we could let it drive and steer it back on course when it is heading for the embankment. Systems like this are under development. Benz has already implemented this. Ralph at CMU in mid-19, it drove 98% of the way from Pittsburgh to San Diego without any human assistance. Nowadays, there are various subsidiaries of machine learning are coming into picture. Artificial intelligence are coming into picture. Machine learning is one of them. Now, this allows computers to learn to do things without explicit programming. There are many successful applications. Now, these require setups. Does not mean your PC can learn to forecast the stock market or become a brain surgeon. But still, certain applications are there which predict the stock market, which help doctors to navigate during brain surgery. Yes, computers can learn, can adopt when they are presented with information in appropriate way. So better information is required for such learning and adaptation. Now, there is another question: which can computers see? So all these are aspects of uh, making machines intelligent, making computers intelligent. So there are two things like speech recognition and understanding. Recognition and understanding of object in a scene. Uh, you might have an idea about how you studied alphabet learning. You are given a copy of three lines and you have to start with writing A in a specific manner. But uh, you you can visualize in any direction A, and you can say you will say that this is A. So visual recognition is a hard problem since angles are changing, directions are changing. Mostly computers can see certain type of objects under limited circumstances. Even nowadays there are AI-based cameras which can figure out human figures, which can figure out certain alphabets if they are written in a specific order. But still constraint problems are there. Face recognition has still a long way to go. Similarly, there's another thing. Can computers plan and make optimal decisions? For taking optimal decisions, intelligence is the key criteria. And involve when we talk about solving problems and making decision-based plan, intelligence is required. For example, you want to take a holiday in Brazil. So what you have to do, you need to decide your dates of flights, you need to go to the airports, etc. Involves a sequence of decisions, plans, and actions. Suppose if you make a program for such uh, with the help of computers, uh, but computers without experience doesn't give you a perfect planning. So from there, the computers are lacking. What makes planning hard? Since the world is not predictable. Since suppose you are traveling from one destination to another destination, uh, uh, and somehow your flight is cancelled, and there's uh, on some other flight. So is a potentially huge number of details. So do you consider the all flight, all dates? So for that you require certain common sense constraints to the solution. So this machines cannot. So for planning and optimal decision making, still humans are better than the machines, that is computers. So when we talk about all these in a nutshell, these are the summary of a state of AI systems in practice. Speech synthesis, recognition and understanding, very useful for limited vocabulary applications. Unconstrained speech understanding is still too hard. In computer vision, it works for constrained problems, handwritten zip codes. Understanding real-world natural scenes is still too hard. Then learning. Adaptive systems are used in many applications, have their limits. Planning and reasoning only works on for constrained problems. For example, chess. Real world is too complex for general systems. Overall, many components of intelligent systems are doable. There are many interesting research problems still remaining. We all, as a computer scientist, can adopt these problems. Intelligent systems in your everyday life, post office, banks, customer services, where you might have seen digital cameras, computer games. These are the area. There are different AI applications. If I talk about different applications, the first application is machine translation. You might be um, having its name. Language problem in international business, meeting of a Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Swedish investors, no common language. Or you are shipping your software manuals to 127 countries. Solution is hire translators to translate. But it would be much cheaper if a machine could do this. Even Google is trying hard. Various Google applications are there which can translate from one language to another language. One language to another. How hard is automated relation? Just a minute. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. We got to learn a lot about from the starting of artificial intelligence and how we grow from nothing to a lot, and what are the constraints and up to what level we can use it. We have some questions on artificial intelligence. Just a second.
Yes.
Okay, so the
Sorry, your
question,
voice is not audible.
yes, is it audible now?
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, what up to what limit artificial intelligence and artificial agents should be used? This is the first question.
Pardon, repeat it again.
What should be the limit up to which artificial intelligence and artificial agents should be used? For example, we have seen in recent times, like Amazon delivery guys are being selected and their reviews are being analyzed by artificial intelligence platforms. So, what should be the limit? Should this be continued, or we should stop this? Because sometimes machines cannot see they can't use common sense, and hence they can't see that they have some problem and such things. So can you please tell us more about
You
this?
you you are answering it by yourself. You're saying a word common sense. So the areas where common sense cannot be applied, AI is at present is to be restricted. Since what happens in computers, you have huge amount of data, and for that data, what you have to do, you are just giving some programs, and unnecessarily you are putting certain operations on that data without knowing what results it is going to fetch, where we have to apply. So for that, human intelligence is still far more better than artificial intelligence. So the limit is that.
Okay. So, sir, is it the problem of overfitting, or we cannot achieve such kind of intelligence through machines? Is it overfitting case, or this
No,
is
it is
some?
not an overfitting case. It is a problem of continuous progression. That means every time you have to find out certain things, you have to incorporate into your system. The term experience is to be there, imbibed into machines also. So after getting some sort of data uh, of through certain experience, the machines can also learn. They can modify themselves with the help of a human programmer, and again they are doing again different tasks. These things which I told you in my talk earlier, that these are basically as I told you earlier, for language translation, it was thought that computers cannot do. But you might have gone through Google Docs. It has a very unique feature of translation, and it gives with certain set of accuracy as well. So the accuracy is increasing day by day. So as soon as you will have an accurate software, AI is achieved at that particular point of time. And again, then you will have another set of things. Ambiguous statements and ambiguity is not taken care of by AI. So this is another problem. So the programmers like us are behind such problems. So after few years, you are finding many of these problems will be solved. Might be will be exact machines taking care of each and every one of us.
So it is like we are on a continuous improvement journey, right?
Yeah,
So another question is, what are the languages appropriate for AI as per your knowledge?
basically, for a starters, Lisp and Prolog is there. For starters, Lisp and Prolog. Nowadays, even through Python, you can go for that. Even whatever latest languages are coming, those are basically having the concept of these AI things already in their background. So you can go for any traditional languages cannot be used, but still such type of languages, less prologue, less processing and programmable logic. These are the basic. These can be well understand within a day or two. You can, and then you can go through Python, Corba, and there are a number of languages.
Okay, so next question is role of knowledge representation in artificial intelligence.
Knowledge. Again, we started with data. We started with data. We tried to gather information, and after this information, we came to a knowledge bank. So from information, we achieved to another word of knowledge. And today we call our word as knowledge word. Knowledge-based societies are there, having specific knowledge on specific things. So earlier, these were not compiled at one place. But knowledge-based societies have different sort of knowledges compiled at one stages, and through knowledge bank, according to our needs, we can draw any sort of knowledge as per our requirements. So the next segment, when we are talking about AI is implemented. AI is implemented into through systems which brings you effective knowledge which is to be applied at a specific area. So that is the thing. So knowledge-based societies require artificial intelligence since devices cannot do by themselves. So devices acquire data and then figure out information, and this information is then utilized for taking decision making through a knowledge-based system. So that is the overall clubbing of AI with knowledge-based.
Okay. So knowledge representation plays an important role in artificial
Yes.
intelligence.
Rather, it's another thing. We can say it in a different manner that AI is required for having generation of knowledge base.
So, okay, thank you, sir. That answers all my doubts and all the questions of the students. We are really glad to have you here, and thanks for sharing a lot of knowledge with us. So, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.